Hey, what's up guys? MikeCoco back here bringing you guys the Legion of Heroes Top 10 Tips and Tricks Part 2, and we'll jump right into this guide with the 6th tip, which is ranking up your heroes using fodders. And what this means is that when you level up any hero from Season 1 to Season 5, you'll gain 500 to 1000 rank EXP if you fuse that level 50 hero to another hero. And rank EXP is pretty important because it dictates the rank of your hero and it dictates the number of stars. 1 gold star is equivalent to 5 star, and 2 gold stars is equivalent to 6 star. And as you can see, the rank EXP has a certain bar, and you'll need to meet that amount of rank EXP in order to rank up your hero. So for example, Johnette here is at 4 star and at 15 out of 16k rank EXP. So by fusing any hero from level 1 to 50, you'll grant 500 or 1000 rank EXP. Season 1s will only grant 500 rank EXP, but Season 2s, Season 3s, and Season 4s and Season 5s should grant 1000 rank EXP. So a really quick demonstration is right here. She's at 15 out of 16k, and we'll fuse any random hero. We'll just pick one of them on standby. And this is extremely important because using fodders to rank up your heroes is pretty much the only way you can get your heroes to 5 star or 6 star if you're a free player. And as you can see, I'm using one of the lesser used heroes, or one of the freebies. These heroes aren't typically used because they're pretty bad for overall use in tower and battles, so there's really no point, and you can use these heroes for free as pretty much sacrifice or sacrificial heroes. So when I fuse Johnette or fuse Broken Arrow Looter with Johnette, you'll see that it says promoted, and that's because she gains 1k rank EXP from a level 50 Season 2 hero, as you can see there. So when I fuse her, she'll get to 5 star, which is 1 gold star. So this is extremely important because, you know, this means that you shouldn't base off hero selection simply off of the number of stars the hero has. 1 gold star may not always be better than a 3 star hero. So this is extremely important, and because when you hit max level, your stats can't really increase anymore. The only other way to increase your stats is by ranking up to a maximum of 6 star, which is the cap for all heroes. And when you're ranking up these heroes, you should typically use heroes from the same season to fuse together. For example, if I have Drake, or let's say Pokey at Season 3, I want to fuse another Season 3 hero to Pokey in order to maximize the amount of rank EXP. Because if you utilize a hero that is not of the same season, like for example a season less, then you'll gain around half of whatever EXP you should get. So here's a Season 1 hero. If I fuse it to a Season 2, you'll see that they get half the rank EXP they should, and for Season 3 it'll be half of that. So each time it's like cumulative. So for example, if I fuse it to Gwyn, it's, I believe, 20 rank EXP if we take it off. Yeah, so it's 20 rank EXP if I fuse Season 1 to Season 1. But for example, if I fuse it to Kuroko, who's Season 2, she only gets 10 rank EXP. And even worse, if I fuse it to another Season 3, who is Drake, he only gets 5. So as you can see, the rank EXP progressively gets worse if you fuse a hero from a lower season to a higher season. So that's why you typically want to keep the seasons you're fusing the same to maximize efficiency. So the next tip comes along with this tip, which is the 7th tip, and it is to maximize the level of your heroes. And the reason why I need this is because in order to get rank EXP, you need your fodders to be at level 50. So I highly recommend getting your heroes to max level as soon as possible. And the reason why this works is because when you're in a tower battle, for example, here, when a hero is at max EXP, or rather max level, they can't gain any more extra EXP, but whatever EXP they should have gotten will be automatically transferred to any hero who's not at max level already. So let's say tower floor is 64. It grants 10,500 EXP per hero, but let's say our entire team already has maximum or at max level, then no one really gets EXP because they can't gain anymore. But if we put one hero that's at level 1 along with all of our max team, that one hero will get 10,500 EXP per hero that's at max level. So a typical formation will be 9 heroes. That means one of them will be your level 1, and you'll have 8 others at max level. 8 other heroes at max level will grant 10,500 EXP per hero. So that times 8, I believe, is 94,500. So you get pretty much 100,000 EXP per round if you use the entire team at max level and one hero at level 1. And just to put that in perspective, that brings a level 1 hero to level 6 instantly. That's 100,000 EXP. So this is one of the only ways that a lot of the end game players use to rank up their fodders. And they pretty much just get a lot of EXP into these fodders and they fuse them. So it's really easy when you're at end game because you'll be able to gain massive amount of EXP. Otherwise, tower still works. 100,000 EXP is nothing to frown upon. So it's still really nice way of leveling up your heroes. Personally, I don't recommend getting your main to level 60 first, simply because, as I stated before in part 1, your morale is directly related to the level of your main hero. If your main's at 60, then you'll have to recharge using 15k gold, but if your main is at a lower level, you can recharge your morale with less gold. So that's one of the advantages. So I personally recommend fusing, or not fusing, but picking another hero and maxing them out first, not the main hero. And the next tip is participation in hero wars. So typically speaking, hero wars is a fantastic way to get gold if you're an active player that can go on the game quite frequently. And this is because when you're selling any equipment or selling anything for gold, people can attack you and take your gold if you don't collect your gold, as I do often. So I don't pick up my gold often because I forget, and so I have like 200,000 gold just waiting to be stolen, and people will steal it. I've had like 2 attacks in a row and they've stole like 100,000 each, and it was quite disappointing, but that's how hero wars works. So if you're an active player, then I highly recommend playing hero wars, because you could find a person like me and just take all of my gold from selling equipment and stuff. So it's really beneficial. But if you aren't active like me, you should not participate in hero wars, simply because your gold can be stolen, and if you're selling a lot of things and you're autoing a lot and you're just you don't go on the game that frequently, then you don't want your gold to be stolen. So that's pretty much why you should not join hero wars if you're not a frequent player or very active, and you can't go on every like an hour or 2 hours to check up on your sales. And because of hero wars, I typically don't recommend putting up gold or using gold to set up barricades. And this is one of the tips that J-Rock gave, and he was a former #1 player in hero wars. And here there's the ability to select objects, and it costs, well, right now it's 0, but typically if you want to add more, it's actually 1,000. That's just the attack rating. So it costs 1,000 gold to place this barricade, which means that if you place a barricade down, it acts sort of like a shield. It acts like another hero, but they don't do any damage. So it basically just absorbs damage. And as J-Rock pointed out, it's kind of redundant to use gold to protect gold, because that's pretty much what you're aiming for in hero wars. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. And that's why he just suggested not to use gold, and it does make quite a bit of sense. You're using gold to protect gold. It just doesn't make sense at all. And another tip is to utilize 2 of your formations and set them as the best formations in your team. And what this means is that you'll have a greater chance of actually succeeding in an attack. For example, if the enemy has like 3 strong rows here and here, you can have 1 strong row here, or 1 strong formation here, 1 strong formation here, and if you're lucky, you'll have at least 2 out of the 3 chances in order to gain the loot from these guys. Rather than if you split up all your good heroes among 3 formations. So that's just a really good tip by one of the former #1 hero wars players. And the 9th tip is for the newcomers to the game. Tower function is very useful, as I stated before. However, there's also a co-op function, which is in the public list, and you can also start your own co-op tower. And what this means is that when you select the tower rooms, let's say 64, you can select whether or not you want friends to join, if you want to make it open to public, or if you just want to do a solo. And I see a lot of beginners and they try to co-op in floors 1 and floors 2, and it really does not make any sense because those floors you should be able to solo. If you can't, then there's something wrong with your gameplay or game style, and you pretty much need to learn if you're dying at floor 1 or floor 2. And really, high level players don't have any incentive to join floor 1 or floor 2 rooms because, as I said before, it costs 15k gold to recharge morale. And at floor 1 or floor 2, the equipment you get and the gold you get back from selling it will probably amount to maybe 1k maximum. So it really doesn't make sense. They're losing a lot of money just to go help you. Pretty much, you should be able to solo anything from floor 1 to at least 30 before you need to co-op, because when you get to 30, that's when I believe you should need Savior, and you might need to get Savior gear in order to advance in tower. But otherwise, don't clog up and congest the co-op search function with floor 1 and floor 2 rooms, because there's no point in running those. Like, if you do die, it should be a great way for you to learn on what mistakes you made and what problems there are with your formation. And if you do manage to get into a co-op room, please don't join like a level 60 if you're like level 1. If you're on like tower floor 5 and you join a tower floor 60 room, it just doesn't make sense because you're going to get one-shotted and you're going to take up valuable space for another person who could potentially help them pass the floor. So try to keep it maximum maybe 3 floors ahead of what you can solo if you're going to co-op, and don't try to do anything crazy because you will get one-shotted. And further advice for tower is, if you are co-oping with a guild or someone that is a higher level and it is a floor that you can't manage by yourself, don't use the Fury. I see a lot of people do this in co-op and they utilize all the Fury when they're at lower levels, and they simply don't understand that when they use Fury for their own skills and they think they're doing a lot of damage, I know you want to show off in front of the high levels to show off your skills you learn from this guide, but honestly, the damage you do is nothing in comparison to the higher level players. So don't use up the Fury. Let them use the Fury and clear the round first so that you'll survive. Otherwise, if you use the Fury and they can't use the Fury, the mobs will still stay alive and possibly both of you might be dead. So just don't waste Fury. That's my final recommendation. And lastly, for the 10th tip, it is main hero selection. Who should I pick as my main? Well, the good thing in Legion is that you can always choose who you want your main to be, because you can switch pretty much without any restrictions. For example, what you want to do if you want to switch is you want to go to this button here, the 3-dot menu or 3-bar menu. Go to Find NPC and click the first one. And she'll require like a fee of around, I think, like 10k to 80k depending on how high of a level your main is, and she'll change your class for free. So you can pretty much pick any class you want. Your skills will remain. So what this means is that if you picked Berserker main and you only level up your first skill, that means if you switch to any of the other mains, your first skill that you have will already be maxed and it will retain that level. However, if you use let's say if we pick Berserker main and we switch to the secondary weapon, which is his cannon, and we level up that one, and you switch to, let's say, Sorceress or Gladiator or Sniper, then their secondary skill will already be maxed, but their primary skill will not be maxed, which is their first skill. And that would be, for Sorceress, it will be Staff; for Gladiator, it will be Sword; and for Sniper, it will be Bow. So when you change to the other weapon type, you'll realize that your skill is maxed, but when you change back to your primary weapon type, you'll notice that your skill's at level 1. So you will need to rank up and pay gold to rank it back up to level 50 or level 60. But it shouldn't cost that much gold, and it's only a one-time fee. Once both sides are maxed, then it doesn't matter because you can switch as freely as you want. You only have to pay the little bit of gold to change the class. Your skill levels will remain the same. Personally, what I would recommend in the beginning of the game, if you're starting off, pick Axe main, because if we look at his skill, does it show? Oh, it doesn't show his skill, but his skill is a 3x3 and it does damage and it heals the entire team and he acts as a tank. So he pretty much does all 3 roles in the beginning, and it's very useful because in the beginning you don't have a lot of heroes, so you want that one hero that can provide a lot of benefits. But as you rank up and get higher levels and get better heals, you realize that a lot of the heroes already have designated roles. For example, Nefertiti, who has a critical buff chance, and you realize that, hey, my main, who is Sorceress Staff, has the same skill, so why am I using the same skill twice unless I want 2 rows of crits? So you'll say, maybe I'll switch to someone who has more DPS, and we'll switch to Sniper, who has a Fury Thief skill and does damage. Maybe you can do that. So changing classes is very beneficial. I personally recommend getting Axe when you're beginning, and switching it rather into Sniper or Sorceress, depending on what your playstyle is more comfortable with. I personally prefer Sorceress because she heals a crap load, and she's like the best healer in the game right now in terms of just HP healing, because she pretty much can fully heal one of my tanks in full SS Ascended. So that's pretty nice. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the top 10 tips and tricks. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. And that's it, guys. Peace.